Hi, my name's Elton John Cordy, and I'm not about to let your sun go down on me. Obviously. Sorry. That took 3 goes. Earlier in the week, I did a video about that Andy Manson Nautilus hollow body, and I sort of hinted at playing like a little bit of Misty, a great jazz ballad. It's one of my favourites, and I find myself saying that quite a lot these days, but it actually kind of is. It's one of those jazz standards which, again, I think a few people in the audience when you play it are going to know, which is nice, and it's one of those tunes which is kind of perfectly jazzy enough where it doesn't put people off, if you know what I mean. Basically a bunch of 2-5-1s and stuff. You just heard me playing it in the opening. If you didn't like what you heard there's probably not much point in continuing to watch, but if there is anything in there that you kind of liked about the way I play it, I wanted to just talk about how I'm approaching it. So, as always with these tunes, I think it's important to start off without music and try and let your ear do some of the work. There's a version by Ella Fitzgerald which I think is the version that I've listened to most of all. That's the basic kind of A section. You do that twice. Then there's a B section. And then you play the A section again. So it's kind of a really nice A form. I play it in E flat. I think you see it written in E flat quite commonly. So let's just go through it kind of chord by chord. We'll do the A section, we'll do the B section, and just talk about how I'm looking at each part and thinking about the key. So I just played you the melody, by the way. That's basically what I use as my framework for the tune, and the chords kind of hang off of that. So personally, I've said this before, but there are other approaches where you might have like a chord for every beat of the bar, or you know, some players like to get in a bunch of chords per bar and more of a rubato feel, which means like rob time, so you're like speeding up and slowing down. What I'm aiming to do is keep the melody as the focus and try and keep everything around it smooth and not getting in the way, and the melody really being the focus. That's just my approach. I'm not saying it's the right one or anything, but it's just how I try to do it, and I'm trying to keep a solid time and just hang the harmony off of that melody in a way that is comfortable for my hands and stuff. I've written this out in chord melody form. The performance that I showed you was kind of improvised, but I've just sat down with a laptop and written out what I think I would roughly play. So hopefully that'll be useful. That'll be on my Patreon if you want it, but let's just talk about it here and see where we get. So we're starting off with this E flat major 7. We're in E flat. Now diatonic to E flat we would have B flat 7. That would normally be the dominant at B flat, but instead we've got a B flat 7. Right, and here's the clue as to where that came from. So it's a 2-5-1 2, the B flat minor. 5 is the E flat 7, and then that A flat 7 is kind of the goal. And up 2-5-1 we're dipping into A flat major, if you like. And then we land back on the 4 of E flat major, this A flat 7. And then a 2-5-1. So an A flat minor and a D flat 7. So you could view this sort of in two ways. So this is could be a 2-5-1 sort of in, well, a 2-5 in G flat major and kind of interrupted, or you could view it as this kind of thing, which is how I would view it. And coming from the G altered scale, so if we just listen. So that's how I'd view that part there. That I'd view that as coming from the G altered scale, and sort of like a backdoor 2-5-1 kind of idea. And then an E flat major 7, C minor, so our relative minor, 2, 5, and then to 3. So this is kind of like just a standard turnaround. And what you might expect to hear would be like a, and then we're back to the A section. For what I played, I think was something like a C7, and then this B sharp 11 kind of idea, and then a B flat 7. Just, I thought that's kind of an interesting sounding turnaround, a little bit more modern than perhaps. But there are options there. So what I was doing, again, just to quickly explain, a G minor, C sharp 9 I think, or just C alt, and then a B sharp 11, and then a B kind of sus, a B flat sus, and then we're back to and then I would end with that melody note at the top there, and so the prettiest kind of E flat major 7 that I can think of with that there is the E flat major 7 in second inversion. So we've got B flat on the bottom, then a G, and then a D, and then an E flat on top. Okay, and then we move to this B section, which we'll talk about a bit. So we've got this B flat minor again, same as before. Ending up in the same place, so that's a 2-5 leading to that A flat. Then another 2-5, but an A minor to D. Then a G minor, turn around, so when you're playing over that B section, we're moving through kind of that A flat minor, through that A flat kind of 2-5 section, so the B flat minor, and then I'm viewing that 2-5-1 with the as a 2-5 in G major, the A minor, and then we're back to E flat with that G minor, which is called 3, and then just a standard turnaround again in E flat major. So again, that could be an option. You could just use it as a straightforward 2-5-1 in G flat or F sharp major. So that's how I think about Misty. As I said, I've written it out for you if you want it in tab form. I'll put the backing track up as well. That's just basically a simple kind of bassline drum thing, which hopefully should give you some idea whether you're actually making the changes or not, and playing melodically. Like I've said before, I like to try and put the pressure on me to make it sound like I'm playing the changes properly, or making something that supports itself harmonically. The reason that there's a cut in the middle of that first playing through, by the way, was because I copied the bass line across wrong, so I had to stop and go and change that. But I was sort of happy-ish with how the first part of it had come out and the start of the solo, so I wanted to just maintain that kind of take. So I quickly just fixed the bass line and then started re-recording from where I'd left off. So that's why there's that cut in the middle of it. But hopefully you enjoyed that. Misty, I think, is a really good tune, a fun one, and I think kind of suits guitar quite well. And hopefully if you play it to someone, chances are they might have heard it before, which is kind of cool. As I say, Misty by Ella Fitzgerald is the version that I'm most familiar with, and she does some really nice kind of improvisation around the melody, which is worth checking out. But yeah, hopefully that was useful. I'll take a sip of my coffee. If there was anything useful in this video that you liked, or if you found it interesting, on Patreon I'm doing this sort of thing and putting up lessons quite regularly, and you can get the tabs for all of this stuff. And also there's a buy me a coffee link if you really enjoyed this and got something out of it, but only use that if you can afford to. And thank you for watching. I'll catch you for another video soon. Cheers.